Hello all, my name is Namami Bansal and I've got All India rank 17 in the sacred PDF this year of successful candidates of 2016. Uh, I intend to cover basically about essay, ethics paper, some general tips on preparation and art of answer writing. First of all, I'll tell you brief about my background. I belong to Rishikesh and I completed my school education from there. After that, I moved to Delhi. I did economic honors from Delhi University, LSR batch of 2012. After that, I worked for about a year and a quarter with Economic Times. And in January 2014, I left my job to prepare for civil services. So I went back home. It was different in my case. Usually people come to Delhi to prepare for civil services. And in my case, it was the other way around. I went back home to prepare for civil services. So the idea was that I wanted to focus on self-study and do dedicated preparation for this exam. I wanted to once in my life live that dream which I had cherished. I wanted to give it all I have for some time and see where I stand. So when I began in preparation in January 2014, I was as lost as any new aspirant is. What sources to refer, what books to read, how much to read. Now, after all these 3-4 years experience, I have only one thing to say. This is the conclusion. According to me, all serious aspirants refer the same sources, almost the same sources for polity, geography, economy, and even if they refer different sources, the information about our constitution, about India's geography, the world geography is almost the same. The difference is how you read it, how well you read that source, and how you use what you read in writing answers. That is the difference. Now, what is the right approach? So we'll talk about this we'll take it up one by one. Firstly, I'll talk about the essay paper. Let's talk about that separately. The essay paper is one paper in the mains examination where you can really make your score, that can really make or break your score. And you don't need to put in as much amount of effort as you need to for GS 1, 2, 3 in essay. So what I did for essay is that I wrote 2 essays before mains examination and I focused on all dimensions. So this is what you should be doing. What exactly is the examiner or the body, the examining body trying to assess from the essay paper? Your perspective. You're given a topic, how you would think about it. What is your idea of it? What is your thought process on it? So have a holistic approach. Instead of talking about one dimension in detail, that happens because naturally we have certain strong areas. For example, if I am from economics background, I will have a natural tendency to write more of economics because I know it, right? So you have to control that urge. You have to have a very balanced approach, include political aspect, include ethical dimension, include environmental perspective. So as many dimensions you will cover in the essay paper, the better it is going to be. That should be the approach. Second thing you should do for the essay paper, which helped me, keep some quotes and facts handy. What are the sources to do so? For quotes, you can simply Google. There are certain topics, peace, women empowerment, about environmental issues. Some great personality has said something. You make a repository of such quotes. 10, 20 is enough. About 10, 20 quotes are more than enough. And you have to, basically what it does is that if we are making a point, we are writing an essay, and we are making a point, say, thinking about some aspect of it, of the issue, and we are quoting some personality, that validates our point. And also it makes an impact because we have been able to connect the dots. We've been able to connect it there. So this is one thing you should do. Second thing is facts. Where can we find those facts? I read the economic survey. It's a very nicely written document. It helped me a lot. It helped me in the economics optional paper too. If you cannot read the entire survey, read summary notes of it. It's a treasure house of facts, which you can use for your essay paper, for your GS3 especially, or your economics optional if you have that. And it's a reliable source. So nobody can question something you're quoting from the economics survey. Fine. So essay में 3 things majorly you have to focus on: a balanced approach, comprehensiveness, various dimensions, then quotes, facts. These are things you should work around in your essay. You should write an essay, see what are the things that I've missed, what is it that I could have added in this. I used to review my essays myself. I've done that for GS answer writing as well. We'll take that separately. So review it. If you're not able to review your essay yourself, take help from your teachers, from your peer group, if you have a study group. It'll help. You'll be able to locate what are the shortcomings and then rectify them in the next essay you write. Coming to ethics paper. Again, ethics is one paper where the cost-benefit ratio is very nice. You can put in less and you can get out more. Like you can create a good score for yourself with a little bit of smart work. How do you do that? First of all, understand what is required in this paper. In the ethics paper, they are not testing what decision is. I'm especially talking about the case studies. For the theory part, okay, for the theory part, there are certain topics specifically mentioned in the syllabus given by UPSC. I searched those terms on the internet. Okay? Make the best, simplest definition. Don't go for complex definitions. जो खुद ही को समझ में ना आए तो वो examiner को कैसे समझ में आएंगी? तो go for easier definitions which state clearly what this term means. Fine. After that, look for examples from your daily life. As many examples you can think of. Some experience. And you connect it there and make a repository that, okay, this was something I can quote. This was one thing, I'm just traveling in a bus and I noticed something happening around and I can quote that in Swachh Bharat Mission or some case study on cleanliness. It's a behavioral aspect. So look around for such examples, quote them. That would make your answer, ऐसा नहीं लगेगा कि you just talking in theory. हवा में बात कर रहे हैं ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए. You should be able to relate it to the ground situation. Right? So include examples from your day-to-day life in the ethics paper. Second thing is about the case studies. About case studies, it's not important what decision we are taking. They will give you alternatives and ask you to evaluate them, or they will simply ask you to find alternatives. What are the alternatives in front of you? And what would you do in such a situation? Now, what you choose to do is not important. Why did you choose that? That is what is important. What was your motivation behind choosing that? What were the reasons which led you to that decision? So you have to justify your choice. Second thing you should do is your justifications should be strong. Like do that in terms of like say justice approach, rights-based approach. That everyone should get their minimum basic rights. And that is why I think this is the best option. Or talk in terms of justice, equality. These are the virtues which we want to inculcate in our decision making, right? So focus on these areas when you justify your decision. Second thing you should do is, for case studies, have an organized approach. When you are answering that alternative 1, list out what is the positive about it, what is the negative. And if you're not choosing it in the end, list out how the negative dominates the positive. Fine. ऐसा होता है जब हम केस स्टडी पढ़ते हैं तो पता चल जाता है कि इसमें ये करना चाहिए. मतलब ये तो सबको पता है इसमें eventually you have to do this. That gut feeling comes. But always give consideration to the opposing views. Don't neglect it, like don't ignore it. At heart you have a very strong feeling about something, but still have consideration for the opposite views, for the opposite stand, other alternatives. They have to be given due consideration and write down that why I think it is not the right thing to do. Fine. So that would make ऐसा नहीं लगेगा that you are a biased person when making decisions. You are a balanced person and you give consideration to all viewpoints and then you take your call. That should be the approach for case studies. So for ethics, I think you should be able to do well if you're focusing on these three things. For theory, refer day-to-day examples. That will fetch you good marks. For case studies, have a balanced approach, give consideration to all viewpoints, and again, mention what are the positives and negatives of each alternative. That is the best way to answer case studies. Now coming to general preparation tips. This is something I wanted to share because I have learned, this was my 4th attempt in which I got through the exam. I gave my first attempt back in 2013 when I was working. And in 2014, I appeared, I got through till interview, but did not get into the final list. And then in 2015, I could not clear prelims. Then I appeared again in 2016 and got through till this dais. So the thing I have learned is you need 3 things majorly for this examination. One is self-belief. Second is perseverance. That is very important. Patience in face of failures. Don't give up. I mean, understand what went wrong, review your mistakes, and rectify them. But don't give up. Keep going. Third is hard work. There is no substitute for it. Someone will tell you that you can do like a 6 months preparation and very smartly you can prepare and clear the examination. That probably would work, but in most likelihood, it will not. It might work. There's a very slight possibility that it might work. But if you do a balanced preparation, if you put in the required amount of effort, you will clear it. Maybe in this attempt, maybe in next, but you will eventually clear it. That is the point. A balanced approach will never backfire. Balance means not just across topics like science, politics, economy, geography. Balance also between static and dynamic. Dynamic as in current affairs. Now, why balance between static and current is required? It is required because these two are complementary. They are not exclusive. Doing static portion makes sense when you can relate it with what's happening around you at present, in the moment. And current affairs, you will be able to understand only if you know the background history of it. So they go hand in hand. If you are supposedly in mains examination, you get a question which is completely static, which is based on some historical event. And you are able to bring in some recent news article or something that has happened recently which relates to it, which is relevant to the question. That will elevate the quality of your answer. That will help you get that extra mark. Now, the same thing applies to how organized your answer is. When you are, step into the shoes of the examiner and then think and evaluate your answer. A topic comes in the examination and 10 people have made, say, 7 points. 7 points are relevant to it and 10 people have written those 7 points. How's your answer different? If you've made a flow chart, if you've summarized the information in your answer in the form of a flow chart, or if you've added a map to depict what you're trying to say, if you have done anything, some graphical representation, which I did in economics papers, that will help the examiner understand what you've written in one glance. Like at one look, he will understand what is this person trying to say. That will give you a mark or 2 extra. Now that mark or 2 extra, 10 people have written the same points, one has made nice presentation, nice graphs and all. Okay, fine, 1-2 number extra दे देते हैं. 1-2 number से क्या होगा? हाँ तो 1070 something is the cutoff is the marks you need. But 1 or 2 mark in one question across 20 questions in 4 papers would amount to anything between 80 to 160. And that would make a sea of a difference in the final merit. So you have to understand that there is that fight of you have to make your answer script the best of the lot. If an examiner is taking up, say, 15 answer scripts in one sitting, let's just assume, I don't know how many they correct in one sitting, but yours should be the best. Even if you're making the same points, even if you're saying the same things, state them in a manner that is effective, that is impactful. Second thing, which is a little difficult for the person reading the answer script, is complex sentences. Don't make longer, complex sentences. It happens naturally to UPSC aspirants because we read so much that we tend to comma dal ke we include so many points. But don't do that. Try to write in shorter, crisp sentences because it's reader friendly. I may have made a very brilliant point, but that point is 5 lines long. And by the time I started in somewhere else, and by the time I'm ending it, so much has happened. I could not follow. So it's difficult to read. Write in shorter, crisper sentences. Organize your answer, write in sections, cover various dimensions. The same thing applies to your GS answers as well. Sometimes it happens that you're short of content. Okay, you know something about it. And actually this exam is knowing something about everything. You should know something. 3-4 points. You read a topic, 3-4 points about it. No need to do a PhD on every topic. If you try and do that, the syllabus will never finish. It will be a never-ending race. So whatever you're reading, whatever topics you're covering, know some important points about it, and that should be your area of concern. After you've covered those points, your task is to interlink across topics. And that is how you can generate a content of 1 or 2 pages, which you need for the answer writing in mains. So this was about answer writing. Then I've covered preparation aspect. I've talked about how you have to make your answer better in terms of presentation from others. Apart from that, there are a lot of myths which keep troubling the aspirants, that you need a lot of study and you need to study for 18 hours or 12 hours for this exam. I would say that focus on, have a compact book list. Don't refer 10 sources for one topic. If you keep hopping from one source to another, you will never be able to develop command over even a single one. Read one source, and if you have time, read it 10 times. Revise it. The more you revise, more confident you would be about answering MCQs and mains answers based on that. Keep your book list as compact as possible. Even refer one source at max for your topic contained in mains, in prelims. Revise it, and trust me, you will be able to deal with the paper. It's not that difficult. Have a balanced approach. There are a lot of materials flooding in the market after prelims that so many questions from mains last time came from this material, and if you read it, you will be able to clear mains. But honestly, in my opinion, especially for the static portion, revise what you've read for prelims. Have an integrated approach. When you begin preparation, refer those sources for prelims, for Indian polity, for economy, which will serve you for mains as well. Because the time frame you have between prelims examination and the mains examination is approximately 90 to 100 days. And that is the toughest time you will have in the entire year. In that time, you cannot afford to refer something completely new. So try to revise what you've read for prelims, at least for the static portion. There are certain topics like international relations, security in GS3, GS2, which you will have to separately prepare. That itself is a task. Current affairs up to a month before mains is itself a task. So don't increase your burden, try to decrease it by referring sources and prelims which will serve you for mains as well, at least for the static portion. Revise that, and that should be enough along with current affairs to deal with mains questions. In mains examination, don't keep reading. Like, it happens. There is so much to cover and the pressure builds up that okay, ये भी topic रह गया और इसमें तो अभी इतना ही पता है मुझे, ये तो aspect पता ही नहीं है जो अभी इस test series में आया था. But please focus on answer writing. That study part will never get over. It will be on till the day you are to appear in the paper. It will be on after that also, that what did I write, what इसमें तो ये लिखना था. ये कभी खत्म नहीं होगा. It will keep on going on. Like it will keep going on. Focus on answer writing. If you develop answer writing ability, then कम पढ़ाई के साथ भी you will be able to connect the dots and write good papers. Because at the end, what you've read is not going to be rewarded. What you've written is going to be rewarded. Right? That should be your focus area. Practice answer writing. Your speed. You have to complete the entire paper. Time yourself. You have about 8 to 9 minutes for one question. I used to do this, that whenever I'm studying for 2 hours, I used to take writing breaks. Like, I used to take a set of 5 questions and give myself 40 minutes to answer them. And those questions should not be based on what you've just read. That would not help. You take random questions, make them representative. Take one from Science Tech, take one from Geography, take one from History, Polity, International Relations. Make a set of 5 questions, give yourself 40 minutes, and try to answer them. Keep them, leave it after you've answered them. With a fresh mind, after a few days, review it. Look at it critically, very critically. What are the faults with it? I used to literally have a lot of red marks in my answer book, in my register. ये ज़रूरत नहीं थी, क्यों लिखा है? So be critical when you are reviewing your answers. You will understand what went wrong. What is it that I could have added? इसकी तो ज़रूरत ही नहीं थी, तो पूछ ही नहीं रहा था वो. आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा कि हम prepared. You're not really prepared for this examination or any examination when you know everything. That will never happen. Nobody can claim that I know everything. And even if some claim, that would be a false one. You are prepared. The idea is to prepare yourself to answer every question. Whatever comes in the examination, I will have some idea about it. I will interlink it with the knowledge I have, and I will come up with some content, and I will write it in an organized manner. That is what should be your aim. You're not really prepared when you know everything. It's just not possible. Then talking about your preparation thing, I would lastly conclude, and then we can take up questions. I would lastly conclude by saying that this is a personal advice. Please have a hobby. It's a long process. It takes a lot of your time and energy. Have a hobby that keeps you mentally, physically healthy to be able to deal with the stress of this examination. Yoga is highly recommended. And rest is your choice. It's completely a personal choice. Whichever thing that you find, you have a natural interest in pursuing, please pursue it. It's a part of your preparation. You're not killing time by doing it. So, yeah, that's all. Thank you. You can ask questions now.
What was your optional strategy?
My optional strategy, economics. For economics, I referred my graduation textbooks largely. And to be very honest, a lot of questions came in the paper which I had not studied recently, but I remembered them from my graduation days. So I would personally say that when you are choosing an optional, go for a subject you have natural interest in. Secondly, having a background in that subject does help. It really helps. So you can deal with questions because UPSC states the syllabus, but then they really don't stick to it. I mean, they deviate and then they ask related issues, related theories. So that is something that helps you. But for economics optional, I referred my graduation textbooks. For Indian economy, I've already told that I referred the economic survey and I quoted facts from there. So that is something you can also do.
For general studies, which books to read for economics? For economics, what to read for general studies? Which books to read?
For prelims you're talking about?
For both.
For mains and prelims both. I did not refer any particular book for prelims, especially for economics. For GS3, I think Ramesh Singh, Indian Economy, is a good book. It covers the very recent developments of Indian economy in sufficient detail. I mean, it's not very comprehensive, so it will give you sufficient knowledge for this. You can refer that. 2015 prelims, the biggest learning was don't wait for any result, keep preparing. Don't like, wait, sit and wait कि okay, जब ये result आएगा उसके बाद फिर हम तैयारी शुरू करेंगे. Keep preparing as long and don't fall prey to speculations. As long as you're competing, give your best and leave the rest. Don't analyze too much. Don't analyze. Don't analyze your performance. It happens that we start analyzing our performance in the interview room itself. Don't do that. You give your best and keep preparing. Don't wait for any result. That is the learning. Yeah. For current affairs, I made my own notes from newspaper. I initially started with the Hindu, but of late I switched to the Indian Express. So yeah, I made notes. And for certain areas where I found that the information was not sufficient, I used to search the terms and related news on the internet and add points to my notes.
How to cope up with failure? It was your fourth chance.
Yeah. See, failures, you will be able to cope up with failures better if how you look at it will actually decide how you cope up with it. If you look at it as the end of the world, like my life is over, now I did not qualify in prelims after appearing for an interview, everything is done and now I can't do anything, then it will become very difficult. Think about it as a phase and think about it as a certain shortcoming which led to that situation. Something I did not do. I made a mistake. I made the blunder of waiting for my final result to prepare for prelims. And that is why I was in that situation. So there is something we have, some mistake we have committed which has caused this present situation, and we should try and rectify it instead of cribbing about it. That I think is the best way to look at it very objectively. Like, don't look at it as an emotional angle and think about this, like life khatam ho gayi hai. Aisa mat karo. This is the thing. Any other question? As much as you can relate and remember, incorporate. It will help. Jitna bhi you can relate to a recent news, it does help. And if possible, give your suggestions in the conclusion. That's a progressive approach. That is what you should be doing. Sorry? I didn't make notes for the GS papers. I referred standard books. I underlined my important points there. But from the newspaper, I made notes and I used them in the papers. So they were one source for notes. No, I told you I used to have random sets, like include science and technology, polity question, one question from history, in a single page, notebook, in a single source.
You were talking about the myth that everyday self-study of 18 hours or 17 hours are required. What was
It's not required. No, complete your question. Yeah.
The number of hours are required. Actually, how many hours are required?
That totally depends on you. You decide how much I have to do today. And if it takes 18 hours, give it. If it takes 1 or 2 hours, then it's your holiday. It's up to you. You decide how much portion you want to cover. Decide your strategy, zero in your book list based on your strengths. I was from economics background, I did not have to make a lot of effort initially in economics portion. So you all have your own background. You have your strengths, your strong areas. Based on that, decide what book list you need. What are the areas where you need detailed study? What are the areas where you can manage with normal knowledge, right? After that, study it. बस जुट जाओ फिर कि इसको कैसे cover करना है और रोज कितना topic cover करना है. If I decide that I have to do 10 chapters from Lakshmikant in a day, let's just assume. How many hours you need for that? Give it. That's up to you. So that way you'll increase your efficiency also. You'll do it in the lesser time and you'll be able to get over with it. I said that your natural interest. first of all, because you have to study it in great depth.
But if I talk about myself, I
Hmm.
choosing
Okay.
an optional in UPSC and literature, I had heard is really a hard nut to crack.
Hmm.
Do you think switching from literature to any GS paper, like geography, economics, what should be the main criteria?
Your interest. Apart from English, what do you like? So that should be your first reason. Second reason should be your background. If you have studied that subject somewhere, till your 12th standard, or somewhere you've had touch with it, that will help you. That will help you understand the optional better. It will take lesser effort. At the end, you want lesser effort. You want to put in lesser effort and clear the examination. Third thing you should also consider is availability of material, because that was one issue I faced with economics. The material, especially for Indian economy paper, is a problem. So refer what all is available, and based on these 3-4 criteria, you can decide which optional will be best for you. And don't get into that this optional is doing well this year, this optional is not doing well that year. For past 5 years, this optional has done well. Every year people clear from all optionals. So जो भी ऑप्शनल चुनो, सोचो कि मुझे इससे क्रैक करना है, बस चाहे इसकी मार्किंग कैसी भी हो. ठीक है? They have that self belief in you.
Ma'am, for GS2 polity in particular, for the answer writing, did you only use Lakshmikant or you supplemented it with any other reference books like DD+?
For constitution, the topics related to the constitution, the political system, I referred only Lakshmikant. And apart from that, there are topics related to the role of civil services and international relations, global institutions. उन सब के लिए I referred separately. I searched the internet and yeah. So for them separately I did. But for the static portion again, I referred Lakshmikant only. I referred Lakshmikant for prelims as well as for mains. I did not refer any other book for it, DD Basu or anything else. For world history, yes, world history is a major problem area. World history के लिए, please, world history मतलब don't keep reading world history for 1 month before mains. It is that kind of a topic. If you actually get into mastering it, कि अब तो world history से जो भी question आए बचना नहीं चाहिए, बचना नहीं चाहिए. ऐसी अप्रोच रखोगे तो मतलब वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री कभी ख़त्म ही नहीं होगी. वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री के लिए व्हाट आई डिड वाज आई अंडरस्टूड अ टाइमलाइन ऑफ इवेंट्स. मतलब फ्रॉम द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट टिल प्रेजेंट व्हाट वर द मेजर लैंडमार्क इवेंट्स. लैंडमार्क इवेंट्स जो मेन है उनका क्या कॉज था, क्या फॉल आउट था. जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट टाइमलाइन. That is one thing you should do. And for certain topics, you can do a detailed preparation, like refer the causes in detail and the repercussions of it. That's it. Do a very, very limited preparation for world history. At the end, 3-4 questions are going to come. Put in your effort in geography. 10 questions come from there, and they will fetch you more marks. There you can also draw diagrams, and you can write better answers. So focus on that area. Art and culture, you refer Nitin Singhania notes.
I want to ask how important is coaching if somebody is planning to do self-study from the perspective of working professionals.
Mm-hmm.
So how important is coaching?
See, it depends on you. Basically, there are 2 things that can help by joining a coaching institute. One is you have a routine. You will have a study routine that from in so many days I have to prepare this particular subject and I have to write a test based on it. So your routine will be in place. Second thing is that you have someone for feedback. If you're not able to review your answers yourself, if you do not have someone to do so in your peer group, or if you're preparing yourself, then these are 2 factors where coaching can help, but these are totally optional. If you have the discipline, if you have the self-discipline to maintain your study routine, you don't need coaching. If you can review your answers yourself, if you can critically look at them, not thinking that these are my answers, think about them that these are, randomly written answers and I have to evaluate them, then you can, do it yourself also. Coaching is not something that is indispensable. Any other question? मुझे ऐसा नहीं लगा, अगर लगा होता तो छोड़ देती, मतलब आई डिडंट फील दैट कि ये नहीं हो पाएगा, दैट वाज, शायद लगा होता तो कुछ और होता।
हमारे पास 3 क्वेश्चन
हम्म।
आप लोग लेडी ऑफिसर आईएएस अफसर आप महिलाओं की भर्ती करना चाहो तो क्या करना चाहो?
आप बताइए कि आपकी क्या समस्याएं हैं, हम उन पर विचार करेंगे। See, for corruption and the behavioral negatives, basically, I believe the best thing an individual can do is to be an example. An example who's not done this, who does not involve in this. If you are a positive influence for the society, that is your biggest achievement, then your being here is worth it. That is what I truly believe. So.
बहुत सारे लोगों का मैंने जब मोटिवेशनल एक लाइन मैंने लिखा हुआ था कि उसके पीछे सफलता का तो चाहे जो भी हो बहन हो, लेकिन ये मैं उल्टी भाषा में ये कर सकता हूँ कि औरतों की सफलता किसका
See, gender has nothing to do with success, okay? And कि हर इंसान के पीछे a person who's successful today, or even a person who's existent today as an educated, capable individual, there's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice of your family, your parents, people who've invested their dreams into making you who you are today. So I also have my family, and I also have my family behind this, my parents, my brother. So, yeah. You done? Okay. There is a question from the online query. Which time is best for preparation of optional subject? Okay, and this is by Ankit Gupta. See, for optional, for people who are aiming for 2018, I would say this is the best time. Start an integrated preparation for optional as well as for general studies right now. Because you would want to complete the syllabus once and then start practicing answer writing for your optional as well. You need to revise it once. So at least one coverage of your optional and one revision should be done before you venture into prelims preparation next year. So start now. That is the best time for people who are aiming for 2018.